What's up, everybody? It's me, Noir Lilbomber, and today I have a very special video. With me today, I have a few different friends in the Kingdom Hearts community who I have invited to talk about sort of a retrospective with Remind and Kingdom Hearts 3 as a whole. So with me, I have Low-Key Matt.
Hey, what's up?
Lunar Lux.
Hello.
The Secret Reports, also known as Mel.
Hi.
PlayStation.
Hello.
Sarah Key.
Hi.
Xavier.
Hello, everyone.
And Prodigy.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
So, today I just have 7 questions that I just want to have some brief discussions over. First question that I want to get off the bat is, what were your initial reactions and feelings towards the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 and subsequently the epilogue and secret ending?
Oh, well, I guess I'll go first. For the ending, I absolutely loved it, though I was very surprised when I saw Sora disappear. For the epilogue, ended up being my favorite cutscene in Kingdom Hearts 3, probably one of the most memorable scenes I've ever witnessed. I was just absolutely shocked at, like, Xigbar being the Lushu, and it kind of set the standard for the story going forward, I feel like. And the secret ending definitely expanded off of that as well, though I don't have as many thoughts on the secret ending, because it's still kind of mysterious, I guess. Like, I don't know, like, what to get off of it fully yet. Remind kind of expand on it a little bit with the secret episode, but I still just don't fully know how to feel, but they'll probably expand on it in the next Kingdom Hearts game.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna go?
Okay.
Matt?
Yeah. For the ending, like main ending itself, I was kind of disappointed by it because it just didn't feel finished to me. I felt like there was a lot of plot holes that were left unanswered and a lot of just more questions and just didn't feel fulfilling to me at first. You know, it did finish the Xehanort storyline and stuff like that, and I was satisfied with how they ended that, but it just felt like there were a lot of holes that need to be filled. And, you know, the secret ending and the epilogue I thought were great. You know, I'm still very shocked that Lushu turned out to be Braig and stuff like that. That was a great little twist right there, and I'm very, very interested to see where they're going to take that secret ending. They seem to be taking that in a very interesting direction, so very excited about that. And I am satisfied more with the ending now because Remind filled a lot of those holes and explained a lot more stuff that goes on in the ending, so a lot more satisfied with it now than I was before.
Well,
Sorry, I'll go. This is terrible, but when Sora disappeared, I kind of laughed.
Oh, that's right, you did say that.
It came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it. The music was really emotional. And I think I was more just happy that everyone was on the beach rather than sad. And so I think that's why Sora disappearing out of nowhere kind of... I wasn't like busting out laughing, but it definitely made me chuckle. Like, where did he go? What do we got to do now? Where's Waldo?
Kyrie kiss, I swear.
yeah.
Oh, no.
For the epilogue, I knew Xigbar had something to do with the Keyblade War from Recoded Secret Ending. I knew he had to do something with the Keyblade War. I knew there had to be some reason. He knew about the box, but I didn't piece the last piece together, which was he's Lushu. And so as soon as Xigbar said finally, I instantly recognized his voice. I was so excited. And so for me, oh, my dryer is starting. Sorry. For me, I realized the crazy thing for me was the foretellers coming back. So I feel like that was more what I was excited for rather than Xigbar. Not because that wasn't exciting, but because I had a vibe for that already.
I mean, I agree with what everybody's saying. At the end of the day, for me, I felt like I kind of agree with what Skyward had said about Sora disappearing and how the Kingdom Hearts should have really ended with Kingdom Hearts 2's ending. And I really wanted a much bigger and better ending for Kingdom Hearts 3, considering that when we kind of got everybody, it was way too fast the way we got them. I wish there was more time for us to reach them and really develop how we got to Ventus, Terra, Aqua, and Roxas, Shion, Axel. I mean, just to have everybody grouped up and have the situation kind of developed better. But the way the story ended with Sora disappearing, I'm not gonna lie, I would have laughed too. I think that's pretty funny too, because it's kind of crazy that it had to take that turn for the ending, and it kind of gave us a bittersweet ending, just like how Kingdom Hearts was. And Kingdom Hearts 2 gave us such a perfect ending that I wish that we had gotten something just as good as Kingdom Hearts 2, or even better, now that we have everybody together. But that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm kind of like on two sides of the fence. Like when I first played through Kingdom Hearts 3 and I like saw the ending, I loved it. I actually did. I loved it so much. The epilogue and secret ending, like even better. Like I loved both of those. I think I've talked about it on Twitter how much I love the epilogue, and I don't think anything can come close to the epilogue, but I don't know. But then after I played Remind and we got that new ending, that's when I started to realize, oh, Kingdom Hearts 3's ending wasn't that great, because this is a better version of that ending. Like I thought, like adding the little things with like Kyrie and stuff, like not even the Remind scenario, but just adding those little snippets with Sora and Kyrie like into it. I don't know why, it just kind of made it feel more complete. And I think that that's why, initially I loved the ending so much, I did, but after seeing Remind's like new ending, if you want to call it, like I thought it was way better. So looking back on it, I'm kind of like but I don't know, that's just because I have something else to compare it to. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. I think like when you I think what I like about the ending a lot is that, similar to what I said about the epilogue and secret ending, it kind of just like set the standard for like the Kingdom Hearts series going forward, I guess, story-wise. And Kingdom Hearts 2's ending was like way more conclusive, and I like it a lot because of that, because the series could have ended there and a lot of people might have been very satisfied. With Kingdom Hearts 3, a lot of people knew it wasn't going to end with that game if you like followed like the news and whatnot. But like with Sora disappearing, it just created such interest of like what's going to happen next, sort of thing. And there were some moments in the ending that left me really happy as well. Like for me, one of the scenes I wanted to see the most, like out of my years of playing Kingdom Hearts, was I wanted to see Roxas with his friends again. I got to see that. And I got actually some even better than that. The whole Twilight gang was there, not just Roxas, Axel, and Shion. It was a really like wholesome scene, and seeing everyone on the beach, like the ending was honestly almost like perfect up until Sora disappearing, and then
I wholeheartedly agree.
But like with Remind, with them adding all the Kyrie scenes, it added more. Like beforehand, where the ending was when Sora disappeared, it was like, whoa, why'd he disappear? And we had like very minimal context really to it. We just had to piece things together. Like, okay, he probably used the power of waking to go save Kyrie, and that's why he disappeared. Did he really disappear? Did he disappear right in front of her? Or like, is that just like some sort of metaphor, symbolism or something? I don't know. But with Remind, they add a lot more weight to it, because you saw his journey up until that point when he did disappear to wherever, and Limit Cut and the other episodes expand on that as well. So it definitely made the ending like way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I was not expecting Sora to disappear at all. So, like, and my heart was like racing when I saw Sora and Kyrie sitting together, because, and we all know what we could have expected with seeing them sitting together. Let's not play around with that. Yeah. But it's like when he disappeared, I'm like, what just happened? I'm like freaking out. I remember, I think I recorded myself and put it on Twitter of just like me almost having a panic attack, because that happened, because they provided no context to where he was going until the secret ending came about. And I have to say, with the epilogue, best scene in the Kingdom Hearts series, hands down.
I agree.
My jaw hit the floor when that happened.
I'm glad everyone's just on the same page with the epilogue.
Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but all that excitement of waiting for Cage 3, like, I didn't feel that same excitement playing through it. Like, I was excited to play it. But that epilogue just reignited my passion for the series. Like, it felt more of a breath of fresh air than the actual game did for me. If that makes sense.
That makes sense, though. I agree, because if anything, the epilogue give us way more interest into what's going to happen next, because we have questions. We want to know what's in the box. We want to know how the foretellers are there at that moment, especially if they were there at the Keyblade War in the first place. So we assumed that everybody who was at the Keyblade War had passed away. So, like,
it was the biggest curveball for me.
Yeah, it just bring us more questions. But at the end of the day, with the ending, I just would like my thing is just I really wish we got way more answers than anything else. I mean, Remind definitely did it for me, though. Remind definitely started answering a lot more questions for me. Some things were definitely obvious than others, like Shion coming back. I already figured that was the case, but he had to go into more detail and give us more answers than even more questions that we're getting now, like who's Yuzora, where's he come into all this, the box, the Masters, you know? And yeah, I'm glad now that Remind had gave us more context, but the original ending should have definitely done that from the get-go.
I mean, for me, I love the ending. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that I'm like, you know, big Kingdom Hearts 3 fan, but like, I don't know. I felt like it gave me a lot of things that I wanted. Like I felt a lot of closure with a lot of the stories, and I loved seeing everybody finally come together and seeing their stories finally get told. Like, we finally know, like, where's Terra? Like, all that kind of stuff. I felt like, for me, was just absolutely incredible, and it just, I don't know, it just really hit me because it's like the first game where all of these characters are finally in one game, and to see all of their stories come together like that, like, there's no way that, like, it could have been, you know, too detailed for each one because there's so many characters that they have to kind of like fit in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I was personally really, really satisfied with it. Of course, Remind made it even better. But yeah, I mean, and I also, like, I agree with what people were saying about how, like, Sora disappearing, like, that's kind of like, whoa, like, what the heck? And that the Remind ending was a lot better. I agree, but I don't think that it would have had as much of an impact if we did not have the original ending. Because, you know, if it was just that ending that Remind had, then it wouldn't have been as, like, surprising or as exciting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there wouldn't have been no interest for the first episode of Remind, probably.
Yeah, and then for the epilogue, of course, like everyone said, very exciting. I mean, I kind of, like, it was kind of expected that it was Xigbar just because of the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3. How, you know, he was kind of hinted the may your heart be your guiding key and whatnot. Well, may your heart be your
I gotta be.
They needed to put that in just so the epilogue made sense.
I'm not gonna lie. I completely forgot about that scene even happening when the epilogue happened.
I did too. When I went back and I replayed it, I was like, wait, did they add this? Like, is this a new cutscene? Like, I completely forgot it because I replayed it immediately after I beat it. And then I saw that. I was like, I do not remember that the first time. And I looked through my footage of my Let's Play, and I kind of like had a reaction, but it wasn't like a wait, what was that type of reaction? So like it went through one ear, one out the other. I mean, I just was like, what?
That makes
you were
it
just
more,
there
like,
for the ride.
Surprising, right? Yeah.
So let's move on to the next question. Did you keep playing Kingdom Hearts 3 a lot after the ending? And if so, like, what did you do?
Played it immediately.
I beat the game like 20 some times now, and I just replayed the base game like endlessly until Remind came out, and now I just replay data fights endlessly.
Same.
I think I mess around with data greeting the most nowadays. I don't know why.
I agreed like twice or 3 times. I had some fun with it.
I think I fight Yuzora the most.
Oh, so fun.
It's such a good fight.
Waiting for Yuzora with a dance pad.
Do it! Oh,
Rip that thing to shreds.
oh, that should be fun. What was one way you think the ending could have been better to please a fan? Like, what's one thing that you feel like if the ending had done this, then the fans might not have had such a uproar with the ending?
Depends on how you want me to answer that.
Yeah, well, okay, it's hard because now we have Remind and like the whole like scenario with Sora, like, you know, retracing back the hearts and everything. This is a really controversial opinion, and I hate saying because I'm playing into like the whole like the hater meme thing. I feel like if that was part of the game, then the ending, when we got the ending that we got, that where I think is what most people would have been like, oh, well, now the ending makes sense. Now I get it. I think most of the reason why people didn't like the endings because they're like, there's no closure. This makes no sense. There's missing things. So
yeah.
And I'm not saying that it should have been, but I feel like if we had something along the lines of that scenario, like the whole sequence of going through the Keyblade graveyard again, and you know the whole getting the different ending, like that would have satisfied the fans like more, I think. So
I'm curious. Just regarding the closure statement. Do you guys think the Remind ending actually added closure, or did it just add more questions? I kind of feel like it added more questions than closure.
I think it
did
just
both.
filled. I think it just filled holes in the original ending.
Yeah, it provided context.
It sort of just added more stuff. Like it answered a lot of questions about the base ending and added more context for the rest of the series. And I think that just satisfied a lot of people because it just filled those holes.
Felt more complete, I think is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the main thing that got like answered was like the Kyrie stuff, and some things in Keyblade Graveyard definitely add on to certain scenes like the Wayfinder trio and Seesaw trio, like returning and whatnot in the ending. But I definitely feel like closure wise, that probably wouldn't be what I'd call KH3's ending like ever. I feel like the interest in that ending is more so just what the next Kingdom Hearts game, how the next Kingdom Hearts game is going to expand upon it. If I had to say one thing about what would make it more satisfying, I'd probably, I guess, add Remind to the ending, specifically not the Limit Cut episode or Secret episode, probably just the Remind episode. Like if you added that, people might be a little bit more satisfied.
Yeah.
But overall, though, it's hard to answer that because the way, in my personal opinion, I feel like no matter what Square does, Square just makes really polarizing games. So it's hard to satisfy like everyone when it comes to a Square game because Nomura, especially, especially reading these interviews and stuff recently, going back and looking at his mindset, his goal when making games is to give people something to imagine, something to speculate about, and that's exactly what he did with KH3's ending.
I agree.
Yeah, especially in this current generation, you can't satisfy everybody with video games. Look at The Last of Us 2.
What is satisfaction? That is the question.
But
if you build something else like that for
so did you have hope before Remind came out? Did you have hope that Remind would fix Kingdom Hearts 3, and if so, like how much? And it can be in regards to like anything, either story, gameplay, hints for the future.
I think it was just gonna fix a lot of those plot holes in the ending and then just kind of expand and set up a lot more for the next saga. That's what I expected, and that's pretty much what it was. So
yeah, I saw so I didn't know what to expect when we saw those first two trailers. I was like, oh, they're just gonna add like little things here and there, but it was that last trailer that they gave me where I was like, this is gonna be like way bigger than we thought. And I love the way they did that because they gave you the first two like minute and a half long trailers. They're like, oh, we get like these extra little things to do, but like that trailer felt like it was for a new game, like a completely different expand. It didn't just feel like added stuff. It felt like a totally new, I don't even know the word for it, but just like a different experience, like not only just little things to do, if that makes sense. So I mean, I figured it was going to add more things to do, but then with that final trailer I was like, okay, this is going to completely change the game.
Yep.
So
yeah, I felt like something with Kingdom Hearts 3 that was lacking was like, you know, humanoid type boss fights. At least for me, that's what I missed like the most. So having these like incredible data battles, like, oh my god, they're so good.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the pacing thing I was talking about earlier, it would have been cool if they did somewhat the same route that they did with Kingdom Hearts 2, where we would fight organization members in between the game. So like whenever like Vanitas was visiting in Monsters Inc., we would like battle him for a little bit, and he gets yeeted by Sully.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeetus Vanitas.
Yep. God rest in peace to my favorite villain, man.
Sarah basically said what I was going to say. So.
We have similar opinions, I think.
We definitely do. We have the exact same opinions as I do. Well, to elaborate, I guess, I definitely didn't like base Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3. I liked him when he transformed, but like leading up to that transformation, especially on critical mode, it was pretty abysmal. I do wish Remind added the new abilities to like the base game, because I think you can only get them on New Game Plus unless they fix that. And you can't get them throughout the main story, which is kind of weird. But the humanoid bosses definitely got me super excited and actually exceed my expectations, because I wasn't expecting them to scale it for level 1, which is why I mostly play KH3 on, but they did, and they ended up being like some of the best bosses in the series, multiple of them, almost all of them, just back to back to back, some of the best bosses we ever had, and I just loved it.
Right. For me, I was expecting Remind to sort of push things forward with the plot, only do that. Of course, we knew that we had the data fights coming, so I knew that there was going to be some positive gameplay stuff, but I knew like the main focus was probably going to be on advancing the plot of Kingdom Hearts 2, whatever the next game is. I was not expecting that much fan service in Remind. I certainly was not.
Oh my god, that Mickey scene though.
My jaw was on the floor for that.
So good.
It gets me every time.
The entire time I was playing it, I was memeing around like, oh, let me play as Mickey. Oh, let me play as Mickey. Oh, let me play as Mickey. Like, because you got to play as Riku, you got to play as Aqua, you got to play as, like, just throughout the entire thing. And then when I finally got that Mickey moment, I actually was just like, wait, I was joking. Like, this is insane.
It reminded me of the MGS4 scene with him in the microwave and stuff like that.
Aw, dude.
They let me play as Gion for 2 seconds. I'm happy.
So you guys think that Remind fixed Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah, for sure. I think
it made it better. I wouldn't say fixed, because I loved it beforehand, but made it better, yeah.
They made it better for sure.
So, what are you most excited about when it comes to the future of the series?
Who wants to answer that one first? I got one.
I'm excited that we'll potentially get a kart racer in this franchise.
Oh
my god.
You got a rhythm game.
We're gonna get Kingdom
Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yo, that's pretty hype.
We're gonna, we'll probably get a fighting game. Like we'll get Kingdom Hearts Dissidia one day.
We're not gonna get that because Final Fantasy Dissidia was originally going to be a Kingdom Hearts fighting game, but they
Disney said that they didn't want a fighting game with Disney characters.
Yeah, that's true.
I do not want a Dissidia Kingdom Hearts game.
I mean, it would be very, very interesting.
2 different versions of Organization 13 to pick from. Foretellers, Guardians of Light.
Maybe Data Battles will fill that Dissidia for you.
As an avid fighting game player, I think a Dissidia Kingdom Hearts game would be terrible.
No, they'll just do what they did with the limit cut. It's all
they
data.
Put Nordidos as a DLC and
they need to put hidden cereal boxes.
Yeah, was it on face?
Yo,
Nordidos.
Dude, they totally have to.
I think I'm most excited
for... Kingdom Hearts can be anything it wants to. I'm waiting for the canonical Kingdom Hearts musical.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so sweet.
If Resident Evil can do it, we can do it.
I'm a theater kid. I would die for that.
I felt like a lot of these are joke answers, but I actually want something to say.
The more said he wants a musical, dude, we're gonna get it.
Nixo, am I Xehanort or am I Sora?
Noir, and to answer your question though, Noir, I think the number one thing I'm excited for is the Noctis that we should have gotten.
Oh, God.
That's the one I'm really excited for. I really wanted to see the Yozora
Noctis.
like really shine in this entire situation.
Yo.
Just like I think me and you had this conversation before, Noir, about like the how I think Yozora is gonna play a part in the series, and I told you like I have a high key feeling that this is a theory, but have any of you guys seen Gravity Falls by any chance?
Yes, I stand Gravity Falls.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go for it's a Disney look, like, oh, this is how it looks, it's all childish or whatever, but in the background it's really dark and stuff like that. I think he's gonna do that type of route with Yozora and his story. So I'm excited to see Yozora in the future games.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Definitely anything key related for me.
Yeah, I'm excited that Key, a game from 2013, is finally like making its ripple in the modern Kingdom Hearts era, and that's probably what I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
Bad man.
We need an MMORPG Kingdom Hearts.
Agreed.
Oh, that's
God.
coming too. That's coming too. We'll get that after the kart racer.
I swear to God, if Kingdom Hearts actually becomes a thing,
After the
There's no
rhythm
What
would it be
game.
called?
See, here's what's gonna happen. Noir's gonna stumble upon Sarah's dance pad videos,
Oh.
and he's gonna make Dance Dance Revolution for Kingdom
dude.
Hearts.
Oh, please. Dude.
And
Uh,
it'll be all
those old,
Sarah's
like-
fault.
let's not give him any ideas.
Honestly, if that happens, I might just cry. So
Kingdom Hearts
Dude.
Card of Remembrance.
Play a big part in the story too. Oh my God.
I think I'm honestly just most excited for Kyrie participating. Kyrie
Yes.
is legit gonna get a huge character arc like Riku did in the previous saga, and that is what excites me the most.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, based on the cutscenes, seems like it's going to be really good development for Kyrie.
Yeah.
It's good.
Bashi's in a rhythm game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the development she needed. A rhythm game.
Yo, Noir,
That over nothing.
Yo, Noir Project reconnects a rhythm game, bro.
Stop it.
Fun. It looks
Stop
fun.
it.
I'm gonna play it, man.
Now, to be fair,
And the crap out of that game, though.
let's be fair. Riku's first game was a card game. Let's
True.
not forget about that. You know.
Then he was in Cage 2, though.
Yeah, I think for me, when it comes to like what I'm looking forward to in the future of the series, though, like seriously, I think it's because I love everything that Nomura's lining up, so it's hard for me to figure out what I like the most. So I think that I'm looking at like just what it is like I'm just excited to see how he ties all of this stuff together. Like he's clearly like working up something where he's tying together the main line, that we've been playing this entire time, the Union Cross story, and now it seems we've got like Yozora's story. And I feel like he's going to eventually, they're all gonna like meet, and it's just gonna be like I just can't wait to see how he does it, because he's kind of sprinkling it in here and there, like little references, but like I'm ready for like the big punch, the big payoff, like right at the end with everything coming together.
Yeah, I'm really interested as to what they're going to be doing with the phases now, because if you remember in the trailer, it's phase 2 of Kingdom Hearts. So I wonder if they're going to take that in like a Marvel direction and just do a couple in each time, because there's only 5 slots in that phase 2 thing. So maybe we're just going to do shorter spurts of it in the future.
So maybe the second phase is entirely dedicated to saving Sora.
Yeah. Maybe phase 2 is all set up, and then phase 3 will be whatever.
What's inside the box?
So if you think about it, phase 1 was 12 games over so many years, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
17 years.
Oh man, it is 17 years. My God.
I feel old.
I was born when
18
Kingdom
this
Hearts
year.
came out, though.
Kingdom Hearts is a legal adult now.
Last question, and this is, we don't really have to talk about this one too much, but like we all know Kingdom Hearts 3 got a lot of hate, but how much hate would you say is justified for Kingdom Hearts 3? Like what valid criticisms have we seen about Kingdom Hearts 3 that came from the Cage 3 hate that is, justified?
I think
well,
it depends let me just say this real quick. I think it depends on the attitude and like the way it's expressed more than the content of the complaint itself.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think people have a lot of problems distinguishing between trolling and actual criticism,
Yep,
and
I
they kind of
agree.
mix them together and kind of treat them all as trolling and kind of write it off, and that sucks. But
Yeah.
I guess, but I do agree with the criticisms that the ending, the base ending before Remind came out. I do agree with that. I don't agree with how people hate like the Osaka team style of gameplay, because it's fun, it's great. Not everything has to be super technical and stuff like that. I get people like a challenge, but it's just supposed to be fun. So
Yeah.
Well, I don't think, and I think this is like just the phrasing of the question, but I don't think anything really deserves hate. I don't think anything needs to be hated on or to get ridiculed. Like constructive criticism and just doing little nitpicks, because obviously this is a series we all love. Like I feel like if you love something enough, you can be like not blind and be like, look, well, these are things that were probably objectively not correct, or there are just things that they could have done better. But when it comes down to it, everything is an opinion. It's all opinions. I think it's very hard to say that something is objectively bad, especially when it comes to something like this. I would say, like, again, it's how people were saying the things, not necessarily what they were saying. So when you're taking your opinions on it and you're turning into hateful comments and just bashing the game, all you gotta do is take a step back, write down what you don't like, put it out there, and don't be basically, in lack of better words, a dick about it, and then it's okay,
And the other problem was just people just misconstruing everything as trolling at some point, because everyone was like, oh, let's be more positive and be all that great stuff, is so pushing all this positivity because everyone thought it was like getting so much hate, when in reality it wasn't that bad. I don't think, I didn't see like absolute hate for it, at least not mine.
I don't know. I argued with people like every single day, and they would not stop coming to streams like telling me specifically they hate the game. I definitely saw a lot of people.
That's toxic.
I know.
It's
I got some of my comments that's like that.
Maybe the amount of people wasn't a lot, because I do believe that more people like Cage and hate it. But the same, like the vocal minority who hated the game were like so vocal to the point of annoyance, to the point where it was a conversation every single day. Where like people, it's a similar thing throughout the entire gaming community. People feel a need to specifically tell people that they love the game that they hate it. They don't want anything out of it. Just, okay, I hate Kingdom Hearts 3. Some people will go as far as to say, okay, your opinion is super bad because you like Cage 3. How can you like this game? It's so terrible. Oh my gosh, I've had that sentence said to me 1,000 times, and it's just like, bruh, like, I don't know, get a life. Like, that's almost what I want to say.
I think that was the frustrations for me, is like, I don't mind people criticizing things, because I agree that like sometimes criticisms are necessary, and I think that the team is listening. I mean, that was the whole reason for the Kingdom Hearts 3 premiere. They brought us over there, and they took the criticism, the reviews, and they tried to improve, and they did improve some things from what were said. And I mean, I think for me, it's just like kind of, what Prodigy was saying, like when I am streaming and people come in with the sole purpose of criticizing the game, knowing that I clearly really enjoy it, like that's just not the place. Like, if you want to criticize something, take it to your own channel, take it to your own Twitter. Like, you don't need to put other people down just because you don't like something, because again, at the end of the day, it's all preference. It's all like, sure, there are things that we can all agree on that were wrong with the game, of course, but for the most part, I normally see people criticizing things that are just against their own preference. And that's when it becomes a problem to me. It's like, you're allowed to have that opinion, that's totally cool, but like, when people treat opinions as though they are facts, that's for me the most frustrating part.
Something similar.
Technically correct.
What? Something similar for me is that I don't mind if people are clearly, if I lived in a perfect world, people wouldn't do this anyway, but I know that's not reality. But even if people are going to like bash a game, I would rather they do it like on their own platform rather than like come into other people's spaces who clearly like what a game is and then bash it.
You just posted about that too, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm like, stay in your lane. Don't rain on my parade.
Right.
I think that a lot of the Kingdom Hearts 3 like hate. I think a lot of opinions I heard, because I've like sat down and had the conversations with a lot of people, and I imagine everyone in this call likely has. And there are some like pretty valid criticisms, I would say. Like some of the most valid criticisms about the game for me were the combat. I usually disagreed with most story opinions or Disney World opinions, pacing and whatnot. Because I think a lot of like these things are subjective, but there are like middle grounds, and I feel like it's worth trying to reach those middle grounds for everyone. Instead of just completely alienating a side of the fan base. Like one thing I widely do agree on, even though I know a lot of people think Final Fantasy characters aren't needed in Kingdom Hearts, I feel like the series is better with them than without them. So there's no reason to really take them away, sort of thing. And that's like a middle ground. I feel like it's fine, because it's like if you don't like Final Fantasy characters and they're there, then it doesn't fully hurt you to have them in the DLC or have them in the game for like a scene or two, because it makes thousands, millions of other people, happy. But overall, I think it's just important to respect everyone's opinions and understand that your preference may not be someone else's. For me personally, I like love the Disney worlds in each KH game, and the big reason I love KH3 as much as I do is because of how much work they put into these Disney movies and adapting them like better than really any game did before. Kingdom Hearts 2, Dream Drop, Birth by Sleep, a lot of those games like use these Disney properties, and in a way they kind of made them very soulless in a lot of instances, but Kingdom Hearts 3 brought life to nearly every single world except for like one or two, for nearly every single world that was in the game, and I love that about it. And the story for me, it took a long time to get to like the ending, but I love the moments in between every Disney world, and the ending made like going through every single Disney world, the little bit of story you got in between them, so worth it. Like there was such a big payoff in the end for me, and not just in the end scene in Destiny Islands, but in the Keyblade Graveyard as well. All the cutscenes with like the Seesaw Trio, all the cutscenes with Sora, Riku, the Wayfinder Trio, the organization members, how they all got their own little cutscenes. In the Ultimatum, Nomura said he wanted to do like a little bit more like with that. He wanted to give each character their own specific like one-on-one battle moment, but he ended up having to compromise and do what he did. With awkward scenes of like one character like having their little death, and then the other dude is just sitting in the background like, all right, when are we going to get back to the fight? I don't know, like I just loved every like moment. Everything in the ending for me is like some of the best things the Kingdom Hearts series produced, and it's something that I appreciate about the game. But I think it's important to just find those things.
I mean, I feel like for me personally, this is just my own experience, because I hear a lot of people always talk about how the ending is rushed and like, they don't like the pacing. But like from my experience, I feel like every Kingdom Hearts game doesn't really pick up quickly until the end. I feel like they all do that, at least for me personally. I mean, maybe other people have different experiences, but like the revisits in Kingdom Hearts 2, for example, I feel like make it drag on a lot longer than it
Totally.
So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like Kingdom Hearts as a series is kind of messy, but I feel like for me that's why I love it. I
totally.
I don't mean I'm good.
That's true though.
It's a jumbled mess, but it's our jumbled mess.
Yes.
That's the family motto.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't love the series for just one thing. It's like I love it for like all these different moments in these games. So for me to just like look for one thing out of each game, I don't know. That's just not why I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan because I like almost every aspect of the series, from its characters, story, Disney World, combat. There's just so much to appreciate about it. How each different game has like a completely different kind of combat system. Like no Kingdom Hearts game really plays the same, to be honest with you. And I think that's something to kind of like appreciate. I'm still a fan to this day, like despite how different every KH game is paced, how different every KH game like runs, how different the characters are, the stories they're trying to tell. And I still loved it through all of that. So I don't really like it for just one thing.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you to everyone who came by to help out with this video.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Man.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I actually had a question before we go. Is Mel the person who made the Ava versus the Ava's Darkness video?
Yes.
Yeah.
Famous secret reports.
Man, it was her.
So, check out all these guys' channels. I'll put all of them in the description below. Show them a huge amount of love and support. They definitely deserve it. With that being said, that's gonna do it. Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitter, my Twitch. Check out Lowkey Matt, Luna Lux, Secret Reports, PlayStation, Sarah Key, Xavier, and Prodigy. All of our channels and our Discord servers. This is Noir Lilbomber, and we are out.